What if everything you believed about success was wrong? What if motivation, the thing you've been waiting for, was never the answer? The student who toppers your class is not smarter than you. They are not more talented. They do not feel more motivated. They just do one thing differently. And today, you are going to find out what that one thing is. There is a boy named Arjun. He is 17 years old. He lives in a small apartment in a city that never stops moving, where auto rickshaws honk before the sun rises and chai stalls open before the birds do. His father works double shifts at a textile factory. His mother stitches clothes at home by lamplight. And Arjun carries the weight of a family's dream in a worn-out school bag. He wants to be an engineer, not because someone told him to, but because the first time he took apart a broken fan and made it spin again, something lit up inside him, something that said, "This is what I am meant to do." But there is a problem. Every morning Arjun wakes up tired. Not the tired that comes from sleep, the tired that comes from wanting too much and feeling too little. He tells himself, "Tomorrow I will study harder. Tomorrow I will focus. Tomorrow I will be the student I know I can be." And every tomorrow becomes today, and every today becomes wasted. He waits for motivation. He waits to feel ready. He waits for the right music, the right mood, the right moment. And the clock keeps ticking. The exam draws closer, and the dream stays exactly where it has always been, just out of reach. Do you know this feeling? Maybe you are not Arjun. Maybe you are a girl named Priya who dreams of becoming a doctor. Maybe you are a boy named Daniel who wants to study abroad. Maybe you are someone sitting in a college classroom, scrolling through your phone, wondering why you cannot make yourself do the things you know you need to do. This story is for you. We were all told a lie. We were told that successful people are different from us, that they wake up every morning burning with passion, that they never feel lazy, that the reason they achieve great things is because they want it more, because they feel something we do not feel. That is the lie. Let me tell you about a girl named Malala. You know her name, but do you know her mornings? Do you know that even after surviving a bullet, even after becoming the youngest Nobel Prize laureate in history, even after speaking in front of the United Nations, she still had mornings where she did not want to get up? Do you think Elon Musk wakes up every day feeling inspired? Do you think the toppers in your class never feel the pull of the bed, the weight of the phone, the voice that whispers just 5 more minutes? They do. Every single one of them. The difference is not motivation. The difference is discipline. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings come and go like the weather. Some days the sky is blue, and you feel like you can conquer the world. Some days a storm rolls in and you cannot even open your textbook. If you wait for clear skies to build your future, you will spend your whole life waiting. Discipline is not a feeling. Discipline is a decision. It is the decision you make before the feeling arrives. It is the alarm you set the night before. It is the chair you pull out before your mind has a chance to negotiate. It is the first word you write before you know what the next one will be. Discipline says, "I do not need to feel ready. I just need to begin." There was a neuroscientist at Stanford University named B.J. Fogg. He spent years studying why people fail to change, why they start with enthusiasm and end in defeat, why January resolutions become February regrets. And what he found surprised even him. He found that the people who succeeded in building new habits were not more motivated than the people who failed. They were not stronger. They were not more disciplined in the traditional sense. They simply had one thing the others did not have. A trigger. A moment, small as a single breath, that pulled them into action before their mind could protest. The student who studies every evening does not sit down and think, "I feel incredibly motivated to open this book right now." She sits down because it is 6 o'clock, because the chair is pulled out, because the lamp is on, because the habit has created its own gravity. Think about brushing your teeth. Do you feel motivated every morning to brush your teeth? Of course not. You just do it. Because somewhere along the way, the action stopped needing a feeling to push it forward. It became automatic. It became discipline. This is the secret that nobody teaches you in school. You do not need to feel like studying. You need to sit in the chair. You do not need to feel like practicing. You need to pick up the pen. You do not need to feel ready. You need to start. The feeling follows the action, not the other way around. Arjun discovered this on a Tuesday in November. He had failed his mock examination, not by a little, by a lot. His teacher handed back the paper with a red number that felt like a verdict. His classmates looked away. He walked home alone, the paper folded in his pocket like something shameful. That night, he did not sleep. He lay on his back, staring at the ceiling, listening to the sound of his father coming home after midnight, the creak of boots on the floor, the quiet exhaustion of a man who has given everything. And Arjun made a decision. Not a grand decision, not a dramatic one. No music played, no light broke through the clouds. He simply decided that he would sit at his desk at 5:30 every morning. Not because he felt like it, not because he was suddenly inspired, but because the dream was bigger than the feeling. The first morning was terrible. The alarm rang at 5:30, and every cell in his body screamed no. His eyes felt like sand. The room was cold. The bed was warm. And for 3 full minutes he lay there, fighting himself. But then he sat up, not because he wanted to, because he had decided to. And once you decide, you stop negotiating. He opened the book. He did not feel brilliant. He did not feel transformed. He felt tired and slightly resentful. But he read the first line, then the second. And somewhere around the 3rd page, something shifted. A small flame, not roaring, just alive. The next morning was easier. Not easy, easier. The morning after that, easier still. By the 3rd week, the 5:30 alarm no longer felt like punishment. It felt like a promise he was keeping to himself. And that feeling, the feeling of keeping your own promise, is something motivation can never give you. Because motivation is borrowed energy. Discipline is your own. Let me be honest with you now, because this is the part nobody talks about. Discipline has enemies, and they live inside you. The first enemy is the comparison trap. You open Instagram and you see someone your age who seems to have it all together. They are posting study aesthetics at 6 in the morning with perfect handwriting and color-coded notes and a green smoothie on the side. And you look at your own messy desk, your half-finished notes, your cold chai, and you think, I will never be that. Stop. You are not competing with them. You are not even competing with who you were yesterday. You are only competing with who you will become. And that race is run in private, in the quiet hours, in the moments nobody photographs. The second enemy is the all-or-nothing mindset. You miss one morning, you skip one session, and suddenly the voice in your head says, you have already ruined it, might as well give up. Start again next month. Never miss twice. That is the rule. 1 missed day is a slip. 2 missed days is a new habit. The chain does not need to be perfect. It needs to continue. A student who studies 6 days a week for a year will outperform a student who studies every single day for 1 month and then gives up. Consistency over intensity. Always. The third enemy is comfort mistaken for happiness. We live in a time of infinite distraction. Your phone can give you a burst of dopamine every 30 seconds. Every scroll, every like, every short video releases a small hit of pleasure that costs you nothing. But nothing that costs nothing is worth anything.
The comfort of scrolling is not happiness. It is the absence of discomfort. And you cannot build a life on the absence of discomfort. You can only build a life by walking through it. The work is uncomfortable. The early morning is uncomfortable. The difficult chapter is uncomfortable. And that discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong. That discomfort is the sound of you growing. There is a version of you that the world never sees. It is the version that sits at the desk at 5 in the morning when the house is silent and the phone is off and the book is open. It is the version that reads the same paragraph 3 times because it is hard and keeps reading anyway. It is the version that chooses, quietly and without applause, to do the thing. The world sees the results, the rank, the certificate, the achievement, but it does not see the 1,000 small decisions that built it. It does not see the night you stayed up to finish the problem set. It does not see the morning you got up even though you did not want to. It does not see the moment you put the phone in the other room and opened the textbook instead. Those moments are yours. They belong to nobody else. And here is what I want you to understand. Those moments are not just about the exam. They are not just about the college. They are about who you are becoming. Because the student who builds discipline at 17 will be the professional who delivers at 30. The young person who learns to do hard things without waiting to feel like it will be the adult who leads, who creates, who builds something that matters. Discipline is not just a study skill, it is a life skill. It is perhaps the most important skill you will ever develop. And it begins with one decision, in one quiet moment, when nobody is watching. 6 months after that night on the ceiling, Arjun sat in an examination hall with 200 other students. The paper was placed in front of him. He turned it over, read the first question. And something happened that he had never experienced before in an examination room. He was not afraid. Not because the paper was easy. It was not easy. But because he had sat with these problems before, in the quiet mornings, in the disciplined hours. And they were familiar to him now. Like old opponents he had already beaten in practice. He wrote for 3 hours. He left the hall. He did not know his result yet. But he knew something more important. He knew what he was made of. That evening, he sat at his desk, the same lamp, and he wrote a letter he never sent. Not to a person, to his past self. The one who lay in bed waiting for motivation. The one who thought successful people were different. The one who believed the feeling had to come before the action. He wrote, "You were wrong about all of it. Not because you were stupid, but because nobody told you the truth. The truth is this: you do not need to feel ready. You just need to sit down. You just need to begin. Everything else follows from that one moment. That one decision to show up for yourself, even when you do not feel like it. That is discipline. And it will take you further than talent, further than intelligence, further than luck. Because talent without discipline is a gift left unopened. Intelligence without discipline is a flame without oxygen. But discipline turns ordinary people into extraordinary ones. It turns potential into reality. It turns dreams into plans and plans into lives. Right now, as you hear these words, there is something you have been putting off. Maybe it is a chapter you have not opened, a problem set you have been avoiding, a dream you have been warming yourself with, but not pursuing, a skill you have been meaning to develop, a version of yourself you have been meaning to become. And you have been waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel motivated, waiting for the right moment, the right mood, the right sign. The sign is this: the right moment is always now. Not because it is perfect, because it is here, because you are here. And the person you are becoming is built not in the future, but in this present moment, in this ordinary Tuesday, in this unremarkable hour that nobody will remember except you. You do not need inspiration. You need a chair and a decision. You do not need to feel like it. You need to do it anyway. You do not need to be exceptional to begin. You need to begin to become exceptional. So here is what I want you to do. Tonight, before you sleep, decide on one thing. One specific action. Not a vague resolution. Not "I will study more." Something concrete. I will open my chemistry book at 6 tomorrow morning and read for 45 minutes. I will write 2 pages of my essay before I check my phone. I will solve 5 problems before I eat breakfast. One thing, small enough to do, important enough to matter.
And then tomorrow morning, when the alarm rings and the bed is warm and the voice in your head begins its negotiation, do not listen. Do not argue. Do not wait for the feeling. Just sit up. Just begin.
Because the person who sits up when it is hard, who begins when it is uncomfortable, who shows up when nobody is watching, that person builds something no exam can give you and no failure can take away. They build themselves. Arjun got the result 3 weeks later. He did not score perfectly. He did not top his class. But he improved by 40%. And more importantly, he knew it was real. It was his. Every mark on that paper was paid for in early mornings and deliberate hours. He did not celebrate loudly. He sat at his desk, put his hands flat on the table, and breathed. Then he opened his book for the next chapter. Because that is what disciplined people do. They do not wait for the result to decide their worth. They do not stop when they succeed or collapse when they fall short. They just keep showing up, day after day after ordinary day. And one day, not a dramatic day, not a day with trumpets or applause, one ordinary, unremarkable day, they look up and realize they have become exactly who they decided to be. That day is coming for you, but it begins today. It begins now. It begins with you.